Man, I love that story. And the reason I love Ed's story is because it just reminds me of the power of an invitation. And I know sometimes we're like, man, how do we do that? Or, what if they say no? Or what's that going to look like? Or are they going to be embarrassed once they're here? Man, I just challenge all of us this Christmas season to invite someone to the Christmas Eve services, because you never know, just like Ed, how it could change their life and what that'll look like for the next year and the years to come. So here's the challenge. We're all, including myself, all of us, we need to invite someone to Christmas Eve. And I promise it's going to be an awesome service around here. And we start on the 21st in the evening at 7 o'clock, and we go to the 24th, and it is going to be amazing. If they have families, we got a train that's going to be out front, hot chocolate, Santa, pictures, all of this kind of stuff that they're not going to want to miss out on. And the service inside is it's just going to be amazing. So you won't be embarrassed if you invite somebody. They will enjoy it. And you're thinking, okay, those are in the evenings. I want to go to a Sunday morning service. Well, we're having those in Canyon Country at 8:30 and 10. It's the identical service, so you're not going to miss out. Go and join us there Sunday morning. We would love for you to be there. But Christmas Eve, let's invite someone, and who knows what their 2018 can look like if we go out and do that. It's just going to be amazing. But get it on your calendar now, because we know Christmas season is busy season, right? Your calendars are filling up with staff parties, kids' plays, family flying in, all of these things. Maybe you didn't do any Black Friday shopping, or you're never heard of Amazon, so you still have to go shop something. But you have all of this stuff, and it's stressful, and it's chaotic, and you're wondering, how will I get all of this done? And then there's that one thing that I feel like, at least for me, stresses me out most of all. It's the family photo. And maybe you're taking it and you're going to put it on a postcard or in a letter on social media. And we all really know mom's the only one who wants this and is really stressed out and making us all do this. And we're like, no. And we have to match like we match in life, like we're getting do all of these things. And she's stressed out and planning, and you want it a specific way, all of this. But sometimes it just doesn't end up that way, right? Sometimes that perfect Christmas photo ends up awkward and a little bit like this, right? Because these people woke up and said, this year, we're the Christmas tree. Like, we don't have a Christmas tree. We are the Christmas tree. Or this next one, the irony of this photo and the joy these children have to spread throughout the world. And how about this one, this third one? You'll see it in a minute, but this kid is scared of Santa Claus. All right, and everyone's like, oh, no. This did not end up the way that they were hoping this picture would end up. All right, but that's what happens. We have these ideas. We want it to be perfect. We stress out all of this to have the perfect Christmas. And you know what? We decided, the Canyon Country campus, we wanted to send Valencia and online campus a very Merry Christmas card. So we did our own awkward family photo just for you. Merry Christmas from Canyon Country, real life, right here. Remember when people really wanted that, right? It's like looking off I don't know what you're looking at. I mean, I'm in the photo and I don't even know what I'm looking at. But Merry Christmas from the Canyon Country campus. But these happen. These awkward photos. We want it to be perfect, but it's not. And if you'll imagine with me, imagine at the first Christmas, maybe right before, there's going to be a family photo taken. And it'll probably, if it was staged, it'll look a little bit like this. It'll be on the screen. And right, you're like, there's nothing really awkward other than probably a safety thing about a pregnant lady being on a donkey. But I mean, you're like, okay, what? But honestly, the backstory of this is awkward. What's happening is awkward. Because what probably happened is like a prearranged marriage that in the long run ended up kind of being a shotgun wedding, because she is pregnant and she's telling Joseph, man, it's the Son of God. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd be like, what? Just admit it. It's okay. You'd like, No. And you might have the same feeling that Joseph had because we know what he felt. The stress behind it, what's going on. He wanted to leave. He wanted to bail. We see that in Matthew 1:19. Joseph, to whom she was engaged, was a righteous man and did not want to disgrace her publicly, so he decided to break the engagement quietly. This is what he wanted to do. He didn't want to deal with the awkwardness, but that's not what happens. It's what he thought, but it changed. And God helped him through that, and he stayed together. And what's amazing is because he stayed together, we know him in this photo, in the family of Jesus forever, because he stayed. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Brennan, God intervened, and you don't realize the Christmas that I'm about to have because my mother-in-law is going to come into town, and you've never met her, and it's a joy like those children, right? Or maybe you're thinking, we just went shopping, and we got all of the gifts our kids wanted, and the second mortgage that we had to take out to do it, man, I'm stressed out. Or maybe you all have the crazy tradition of having TBS on 24 hours on Christmas Day to watch Christmas Story, and you're tired of it. You don't want to watch that silly movie anymore. But we do. We have realistic stressors, right? Christmas brings that. And it's all of these what ifs. And they begin as maybe like to creep in as a little fear, but then it's like a meteor shower of things hitting you. And you're like, well, what if the traveling doesn't work out? What if they're not on time? What if they don't come? What if they do come? And then trying to process that, or what about this gift? Or how do we get to this? Or what if they talk about this at dinner? And we have all of these things, and we begin to get anxious. We have an anxiety. We want the perfect Christmas, but now this season has become just filled with anxiety about the what ifs and the reruns that are playing of bad Christmas past. Or maybe you're thinking, I want this to be the perfect one, and it's our first Christmas. Or maybe you have the realization and you know this might be the last Christmas. And it just starts to creep in. And I don't think this is just a me thing, because in general, I'm just being honest, in the research, Americans are really anxious people. We just are. And it keeps ramping up. In this year, and it keeps going up, over 50 million people will experience symptoms of anxiety, of some kind of attack. We've gone from spending in the millions on anxiety medication to $2.1 billion a year. We are an anxious people. So what do we do about that? Where do we go to find some help? But I want to preface with this. I believe God created really smart people who did create really good medicine. That there are times and there are seasons that we need to take. And I do not want to discount that at all. But I do believe there are also some practices that we can do that can help us. And not eliminate anxiety, because the truth is anxiety is kind of unavoidable, but being in a prison of anxiety, that's optional, and we can find some ways to unlock that prison. So where are we going to look? Where do we find this? Well, it's from a guy named Paul. He kind of writes about it. And Paul, he's a follower of Jesus. He started a lot of churches in the first century, and he wrote up to half of what we call the New Testament in our Bible. He's got a lot of knowledge, and he writes to this church in particular, and he says some things that can help. Now, you may be thinking, man, I'm not sure what I believe about the Bible or I believe about God. I surely don't know what I believe coming from a guy named Paul, but that's okay, because I think he has a track record that we can trust. And that's because this is a guy that has been beaten for his beliefs. This is a guy who's been shipwrecked and left for dead. This is a guy that has been left by his friends. This is a guy who, while he's writing the words that we're going to look at, is sitting in prison and doesn't know what's next. Will he leave? Will he die here? Where am I going? So he kind of knows a little bit about what anxiety could feel like, about what stress and the unknown could feel like. But he has some really wise words to help us not stay in that feeling, not be bogged down and burdened by the prison of anxiety. So he says this: always be full of joy in the Lord. I say it again, rejoice. Let everyone see that you are considerate in all you do. Remember, the Lord is coming soon. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for all he has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus. And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true, honorable, and right, and pure, and lovely, and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. And you may be thinking, I didn't see anxiety anywhere in there. It's okay. He's talking about this, though. He's talking about a lifestyle that can help fight against that. And this is what it is. This is just what we need to be, and that is calm. We need to be calm. All right, everyone, that's it. Just go be calm. We're done. I hope you learned something. It's amazing. Thank you. No, I'm not going to leave you like that, okay? But this is true. This is the foundation. Paul, in his experience, he's staying calm. But what does that look like in those verses? Well, this is an acronym to help us see what are the practices. The first, celebrate God's goodness. We need to, in our circumstances, celebrate God's goodness. We see that in verse 4, rejoice in the Lord always. Now here, we all have a problem though, okay? We universally have this issue. We believe we are in control of everything around us. With our finances, with our families, with our work or school or health, we believe we can do things and be in control. But the truth is, we're not completely in control. We're not. We're in control of our actions, our attitudes, and hopefully in a really good way, our reactions. But outside of that, we're just participating. We're not in ultimate control. And the problem is, when we think we are and something happens outside of that, that's when the chaos ensues. That's when the reruns ensue. That's when we think, what if? What if, what if? And fear becomes something else of anxiety. And we get burdened by that. And I have to admit, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is not my strong suit because I'm kind of a person who walks around and is like, what if, and sees the worst case scenario. You know, it's like, oh, that tire's going to fall off, or that tree's going to go, or I'm going to fall on that step. Like, this is what happens in my mind, and I have to go and say, I can't stay in that. Because if I stay in that, I will only be in the negative. I will live in the negative. I will see everything in the negative. And I will not recognize that there is goodness around me. Now, luckily, God has helped me in having a little boy in our life. His name's Israel. He's 6. And for those that you know him, he's crazy. All right. But what he teaches me in this is he can make anything good. Right, like you can give him a toothbrush and he'll unwrap it and be like, this is the best day ever. Like he just gets excited, like he sees goodness in things. And I'm like, I need that. I can see that. And what if this Christmas, instead of seeing the negative, even if there's hard conversations that are going to happen, even if maybe there's some goodbyes that might happen, we see the goodness that is still around us in big and small ways and stop. And get calm and say, man, thank you for this, my family or our house or a job or a sunset or whatever, but finding something to celebrate, to keep ourselves in the goodness, not the negative. The second thing that we have to do is we need to ask God for help. It says, let your requests be made known to God. I don't know if anyone in this room or watching online is stubborn. Probably not. I'm probably the only one who is. But I have a hard time asking for help. Like, I don't like to ask for directions. I like to put things together out of a box on my own, even if I can't read the 70-page illustration of how to put it together. We try, but I don't want to ask for help. But we got to do that. Because we, the people that aren't in control of everything, need to ask help from the one who is. And it's an important and a powerful thing to speak out loud to God, I need help with this. It can be an amazing thing that he can begin to say, see, now I just needed you to do that, and let me work with you, and let me show you how I am working good in your life. Now, this is really coupled with the third one, because once you've done that, we have to leave it with God. Leave your concerns with him, with God. Because this is Thanksgiving. Now you're like, what does that have to do with the other? Because you can't live a life of thanksgiving if you're still holding on to the burdens that you should have just handed over to God. Because you'll still be there. Because the truth is, I think all of us probably at one time or another have had an issue with a car, and we needed to take it to a mechanic. And I don't know, I've never done this, maybe you have, is maybe you grabbed a sleeping bag and some tools and said, hey, you just let me know when you need me to get in there, okay? I'll help you fix it. Or you got by the toolbox and said, hey, I'm here, tap me in, I'm ready to go. No, that's not how it works, right? We took the car because it was broken to a specialist, and now it's time to leave it with the specialist and walk away and let them work on it. It's the same thing as when you ask God for the help, leave that with God so that you're not still holding that burden on your shoulder. You're still not running through a replay of what it is. And then you're stopping, you're being calm, and you're trying to hear what is the next step in what God is doing, which leads to the fourth, and that's M. We need to meditate on good things. We need to think about the things that are good and worthy of praise. See, if we're always in the negative, we'll go down the negative. But if we can celebrate goodness that highlights these things and we meditate on them, man, that can change our trajectory. That can change the way we live out each day. That no matter what comes our way, the chaos that's there, the troubles that are there, whether it's relationship or work or in school, these things, that we can be calm in them and not let it put us into a prison of anxiety. And I know it's hard. I know it's easy to say this is the things that we should do. But if we can live this out, we can unlock that prison. We can, with whatever comes our way, have peace. And that's the benefit of living this out. See, Paul writes that in verse 7, that if you can be calm, you can live those things out, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds. And I think we can all agree, we'd all love a little bit more peace. Peace in our hearts, peace in our minds. Because so often those two things are spinning so fast, we may feel like we're going crazy. But if we can hand those things to God, meditate on what is good, then we can have him guarding our hearts and our minds. And this is an imagery of a big, giant wall that's just defending from all of the things that could come our way. And when we have that, it builds up, and it's easier to be calm. It's easier when maybe those hurtful words come, or that stressful Christmas dinner is there, or you don't know what's next in 2018 for the job. It's easier to be calm when he has built up that wall and is guarding your heart and your mind. Now, I know this is, again, easier said than done, so this is my challenge. We'll just do one of these right now and build on to the next. Today, after you leave here, maybe you're going to lunch, maybe you're going home, I want you to find one thing that is good that you can celebrate. It can be a big thing, it can be a small thing, but no matter what's going on in your day today, let's start this lifestyle. Let's change the way we see things. Let's live in the peace and the guarding of our hearts and mind of God by finding some goodness and celebrating. That'll be tough, maybe for some, but I think we can do it. but it may take a little bit of prayer, so I want to do that right now for all of us, that we can be calm through this Christmas season and this year to come. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for your grace, for your love. And I pray for every single person in this room and joining with our online campus, that they can experience your peace. That the worries and the anxiety that maybe this Christmas season can bring, it's supposed to be the happiest, but maybe right now it's the worst. That you can guard our hearts and our minds. You can help us be calm. And you can see us through any problem, any pain, any sorrow, any issue that we might be experiencing. And we thank you for Jesus, that he is one that knows our pains. He's gone through all that we could experience, and he has shown us a way. We thank you for Paul's words. We thank you that you are big and we can trust you. And in Jesus' name, amen. Well, I'm excited because this morning we are having baptisms. And this is an awesome time. Yeah, you can clap, you can celebrate because it's fun. And what it makes me think of is, you know, that family photo of Mary, and you have Joseph, and imagine Jesus and just Joseph's determination to stay in. I mean, God helped him, but he stayed in, and he's in that family photo forever. Well, when you make this decision, you're in that photo too. And people have been doing that for thousands of years. They have been. And I can remember mine, April 12th, 1992, saying, you know what, I can do life my way, or I could try to figure things out. I can try to control everything, but I'm going to let Jesus be the leader of my life. And it's been up and down, but it has been amazing. And people have made that decision this morning. If you have and you already signed in, come on down. We're going to get ready to do baptisms right now. But maybe you're thinking, I didn't sign up, but I want to say Jesus is the leader of my life. Come down. You can get baptized now. I'm going to hop in this tub. Not actually hop, but I'm going to get in, and we're going to do baptisms. Or maybe you have people that you would love to be here. We're going to do them at 5 o'clock tonight as well. But if you've made that decision and you're here and you're watching people get baptized, will you celebrate, clap, yell, and get excited? Because we believe heaven is excited when this happens as well. So help us cheer them on. And if you want, come forward.